thank you so much for coming out today and really welcome you for being here. Give yourself an applause. This is such an important fight, so I really, truly appreciate it. And I have to be honest with you, when we first decided on March 10th, we found out very, very late in the process that this was the only date that was feasible, and I was in a complete panic because it was a very short window to get the word out. But it turns out to be an especially auspicious day. And that's because today, the first family to take on a fracking company and charge them with water contamination just won a huge $4.25 billion. And of course, there are so many people that helped create that possibility. But I just want to acknowledge one person whose son was very much involved in that lawsuit. Greg Letourneau, can you stand up? His son Alex, their group Energy Justice, has been a tremendous source of support for us. So I really, truly appreciate it, and this is well-deserved. They worked very, very hard. So my name is Carmilla Mullick. I'm from Protect Orange County. And one of the reasons we're here is because we stand at the intersection of a historic moment in which we are taking on the fossil fuel industry head on. And we're doing that by fighting the CPV Valley 650 megawatt frac gas power plant. Yes, slated for the town of Wymondra. And we will win this fight because with Josh Fox on our side, there's no way we can't win. Moment in which we begin to shape a better world that we need to survive. And all of you are here because you know that. When we first began our struggle in Minisink, we thought we were alone. But then we found friends up along the pipeline. And we found friends in the fracking fields in Pennsylvania, in Dimmock. And then we found friends all across the New York State, and we found friends all across the United States. And we discovered that we are all connected by the pipelines that poison us. But most importantly, we're connected by our common humanity. And now we will soon see that we have friends all over the world, because we're all in this together. I want to acknowledge one special friend who's also here with us tonight, a person who saw that connection 4 long years ago and came to Minisink from New York City to join us in a rally as we marched through the streets of our small rural town of Minisink. She came to stand with the moms of Minisink who were worried about the air their children would have to breathe. She's been a tireless advocate of children in Minisink, of children in the bayou, and of children everywhere. She has spoken truth to power like only a mother can. She is not only a friend to Minisink, she happens to be Josh Fox's mother, Angela Monty Fox. Will you please stand up so we can take everything? And now, of course, I'd like to introduce the person that has made this moment possible. Without his incredible work, his incredible journalistic and documentary work, no one would know about the dangers of fracking. I don't think that verdict today may not have been possible. And now the world knows about fracking. And he's here to once again, not only sound an alarm this time, but also to let us know about the hope that exists. Please welcome Josh Fox.
Not often that you get to tape your mom being really embarrassed in the crowd. I'm excited. Thank you, Pramila. Thanks to James Cromwell. Thanks to everyone for fighting the CPV power plant. I kept coming up with what CPV stands for. I thought, corporate power vultures, corrupt, public violence. I don't know. I was thinking of, you can think of your own. It's a fun game. But the reason why I'm here is because we wanted to do more than just make a film on climate change and pretty much end this Gasland trilogy of films. This is the final piece of it. This is Return of the Jedi. And it really is when you see the people who are in this movie. You know, we wanted to help communities in this context. This is the context that I like to show these films in the best. You know, we go to Sundance, it's a great time, we show the movies on HBO, we're going to be in movie theaters in New York City around Earth Day and LA, but this is where I like to show the movies, because this is the point. The Gasland films grew out of a community, mine, which you'll see at the very beginning of this, that was facing the oil and gas industry, wanted to take everything we had and frack it to hell. And that community fought back, and part of that fighting back was me going places and shooting people who were talking and telling their stories. One of those stories, yes, Dimmock, Pennsylvania. A remarkable story. Every single thing in the world tried to stop the verdict that happened today. The state of Pennsylvania tried to interfere and buy off these families. The federal government, through the Obama administration and the EPA, tried to walk away from these cases. And of course, the wonderful, lovely human beings of the oil and gas industry did everything in their power to smear, malign, mischaracterize, and lie to the public about what they had done in Dimmock and what they are in the process of doing every single place they go. So today is an incredible, amazing day. It's like, I can't stop crying. It's like a national holiday to me. I mean, and we're going to keep winning. The fracking fight has changed. You're not fighting fracking wells all across this county right now. You're not fighting them in Sullivan County. We're fighting pipelines. We're fighting power plants. There are 300 frack gas power plants proposed across this United States, like the one you're fighting here. And none of them are necessary, and none of them can be built if we want to consider a safe and secure future. That's what this film is about. That's why we're here tonight. We want to help you organize. We want to help you go renewable. We have those programs. We have these green cards. We're going to help each and every one of you through a neutral third-party advisorship about how you can go and green your entire life, from your house to your car to your kitchen to everything. So we're here to provide information, but mostly we're here to support incredible community leadership on display that brought you all here today. I have nothing to do with how you got to this theater. This theater was rented, this place was created, this night happened because of your incredible local organizers, Pramila Malik, James Cuomo, and many, many others. I want you to thank them. I thank them. And we're right here, fight alongside of you. I'm going to get out of my own way. The movie's 2 hours long. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to be back at the end for the most important part. I'm going to take a big picture of the whole audience. We're going to stand up, and we're going to continue this incredible journey that's been going on for this long, long period of time to create a better world. So thank you so much for being here tonight, and we'll take questions afterwards. I was ramping out of that speech right there, but is that okay? Can we do it again? All right.
Challenge to power we found is surrender to love. With love be surrounded. This is our time. I found a moment subturned to the sky. Love with the heart, see through the disguise. Join hands, it's what people together will rise. Love, the things climate can't change. Dance to the sun and pray for the rain. This is our land, we stand to protect. The record that's playing, you'll never forget. Paint murals of fire, burn in the sky. I can see the same stars that burn in your eyes. One person, cause the seas to rise. The water to dry, our hope is so much eyes. A movement is rising like the sea. The people will change the world, it's time to plant the seeds. It's time to plant the seeds.
Thanks to all the people I paid to be up here dancing with me. No. Hey, thanks. This is our Dimmick celebration dance party, right? And what I want to do is one more thing. Okay, thank you so much for dancing with us. That's the best part for me. Just get it out a little bit, you know what I mean? You feel that pulsing in your body? That's the movement. That's the movement, right? You get it? That's the movement. So can we do one more thing that's required audience participation from me and for your cause? We want to take a picture of this whole audience standing up against the CPV power plant and tweet that picture out to Governor Andrew Cuomo. So if we all come together, stand up, hold up those signs. You got those signs? We have a couple of them. I'm going to stand in the front with this one. So you got those signs. We're going to fill them out. You're going to fill them out in the lobby later, and we'll take individual pictures. So you can put whatever you want to fight for. You want to put, I'm fighting for Orange County. We have one that says, I'm fighting for Orange County right here. Just hold them up high. Hold them up high. Yeah, that's right. That's going to be a great picture. There you go. Mr. Craig Stevens here, amazing organizer. Thanks, Craig, for being the first person to dance with us. And of course, Pramila Malik. I'm gonna get in the front. You want to get in the front of this picture? Let's get in the front of this picture. So this is Lee Zishi, our grassroots coordinator. She is going to take the picture, and we're going to tweet that out to the governor and the president and whoever else you want us to. And you can retweet it from us. Here, I'm going to come right. CPV, got it? All right. 1, 2, 3, go! And one more for my friends in the South Pacific and New York City. One, we are not drowning, we are fighting. I'll say we are not, you say drowning. We'll say we are, you said fighting. How about that? All right. We are not drowning, we are fighting! Do we have Jamie Cromwell who want to come up with us too? Just to be a part of this. Any of the other community organizers we need to introduce tonight? No? We're going to do our formal Q&A now. You know what, Lee? Can you get those green cards handed out? Okay, if you have it, while you're settling yourself down again, thank you, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. While you're settling in, we have these green cards, Lee has them. If you fill them out, we are going to help connect you with renewable energy for your house, for your life. We're trying to be a conduit so people can develop wind, solar, geothermal, hydropower for your particular situation. So if you want, you can check the boxes at the bottom, fill those out, and we will connect you with amazing renewable energy providers that will come directly to your home. Okay. And we have one more announcement before we begin.
I see that there are some people leaving, so just a couple of housekeeping notes. There's some literature out there. We really would like you to take it. There's a sign-in sheet. Please fill that out. We really need everybody to join this fight. Together we can win, but we need everybody on board. We have a weekly picket in front of the CPV site on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. And there's also a letter. You can pick up a letter to Governor Cuomo that all you have to do is sign and mail. And there's a really nice Love Orange County letter where you can also sign and mail it to Governor Cuomo. I think that's it. Is there any other?
Facebook page and website.
Facebook page and website.
ProtectOrangeCounty.org, Facebook page, Protect Orange County, Twitter, Protect Orange CO County. So now we're going to take questions because we're here to answer them.
Yeah. Okay, right there, standing up. Ma'am.
There's a
Will we have a sound? Oh, there's a mic here. If you want.
right here.
Okay, but I can repeat that question, but please do yes. Line up here, there's a mic. Will we have a soundtrack? Yes! We will have a soundtrack. Now, I don't know if the Beatles will be on it, but we did, you know, the amazing musician Gabriel Mayers, who I'm in the subway with right there, and this incredible Samoan band at the end that plays the song with Nako Bear. I did about 10 of those with different musicians. They didn't all make the film, obviously the film's long enough. But we're gonna put those out for sure. And about the rest of the music, I don't know the answer to that because we're still clearing music and all these kinds of things for our broadcast. But my hope is that we have at least a soundtrack of the live music played, and that we're going to, maybe we'll do a Spotify playlist of everything else or something like that. We want the musicians who are the music for this film. There's 50 different tracks of music in this film. Just as there are in Gasland and Gasland 2, the music is so vital. To me, it's a part of the orchestration of the storytelling. So thank you for appreciating that. Okay, she has one more question. Locally. Okay, this is very important. We are embarking on what we call the Let Go and Love Tour. It's a great title, right? Let Go and Love Tour. And we're raising money for it right now, actually, on Kickstarter. Our Kickstarter is bit.ly/Let Go and Love. Really simple. bit.ly/Let Go and Love. We're raising $100,000 to do 100 cities. We have 10 days left, and we have $50,000 left to go. So we gotta turn up the heat on this campaign in a big way. Mr. James Cromwell had put out a video that helped us a lot. We have a video out just today from, this mic could come down a little bit, it's pretty hot. And it is pretty hot. It was 80 degrees today. If there was ever a day to kick off a tour about climate change, 80 degrees on March 10th. It is, and we had no winter. We had people sunbathing at my house on Thanksgiving. It's been wacko. I'll get to that in a second. But the Let Go and Love Tour, it's so important. We have a whole week more of dates coming up. On the 14th, we're in Manhattanville College in Westchester. Lee, where are we on the 15th? I think she's taking pictures out in the hallway. Anyway, you can find all of our dates at our website, howtoletgomovie.com, and you can also get a Kickstarter link there at howtoletgomovie.com. But we're planning to go to 100 places that are in the same position as you guys. Oh, on Saturday night, we have one right outside of Dimmock. So that's going to be fun. Couldn't be a better time for that. And I don't even know where it is. Do you know where it is, Craig?
Yeah, it's in Lenox.
In Lenox, Pennsylvania.
At the VFW.
At the VFW. Yes.
And we're going to celebrate.
Which stands for Very Effed Up World. If you're a Dead Milkmen fan. Sorry, I know this is a family crowd. Sorry, go ahead, Craig.
Are we going to celebrate the fact that Williams pulled the tree kill?
Well, I don't know anything about this. Can you tell us this?
Today they announced.
Get to the mic, mister.
Our buddies Williams, who by the way, showed up with the jackbooted thugs last week with AR-15s to clear trees. We painted the trees with flags. They cut them right in half. But today they decided they only have 3 weeks left to cut New York side 100 miles. So they're pulling out. They laid off all their tree cutting people we heard. They're not touching this place. And their permit expires on December 18th. They would have to refile with FERC to even move forward. That means NED, which was supposed to run next to it, is also a goner. Thank you. We've been working on that for 5 years, but we can win all this. CPB is next.
The tide is turning. The tide is turning. But anyway, How to Let Go of the World, How to Let Go movie. Please visit the website. The tour is there. There's a video there that explains the whole premise behind the tours I'm doing now. Please do share that. The next 10 days are vital and crucial so that we can do this. You know, we do this for free. This group put all this together. There's a suggested donation, I think, right? Yeah. You collected donations for that, but we show up, our tour, me, Lee, the film, we do that for free. We don't get paid. All we want to do is give the movie away. So we're raising money to do that. I don't want to pick. Why don't you pick, Camilla?
Do you have a question, Jay?
Yes, the movie was harrowing, heartbreaking, hopeful. What are you trying to impart? What do you want people to take away from this movie?
You know, I think that when we think about climate change, at least when I think about it, I used to go into this kind of downward spiral. On one side is denial, on the other side is despair. You know what I mean? Denial, despair, denial, despair, denial, despair. And you're just in that tennis match in your head. When you really get into what it means to get to 2 degrees, it's really hard, right? I mean, that's a lot of goodbyes like you see in the movie. That's my real journey right there. So what I was trying to do is find the other side of that and find what's left fighting for. What is there left to fight for? And boy, did I feel like I found it. So you see, you know, to me, this movie, it doesn't explicitly talk about frack power plants. It doesn't explicitly talk about these things, but it is intrinsic to all the fights that we're doing, right? So to me, it's that last chapter of this Gasland trilogy, and it is the one that is redemptive. I don't know how it managed to do that. It kind of led itself. But I feel like if I can get people dancing, like I feel like dancing, and Mika and I dancing on the shore in Samoa, that's the movement. It's inside your body. That's what I feel like. That's the positive direction. You know where you need to go as a community. You know you need to stop that power plant. You know you need to stop that pipeline. You know, what I can do is address the emotion and the philosophy of it. And not have it be about despair. And not have it be about denial. You know?
I'm with WPQ. You're at Orange County radio station.
Fantastic.
And Jamie, you've been on, Noah's been on as well. My question, especially having your mother here, is when did this all start for you? When did you get that urge to say, you know, I've got to make a difference?
Mom, let me answer that. when my mom taught me how to curse when I was 6.
Your mother said about
She's Italian, you know. My mother used to she's asking about you and me, I guess. She used to go to the principal and ask other children's mother to go pretend that they were my mother. She said, I can't go into the office anymore. Would you please pretend to be Josh Fox's mom? I guess I can't do this anymore.
So you were born with it?
I don't know. But it's the truth is the Gasland films. You know, I'm a playwright and a filmmaker from before this, but it's the same way all of us got involved. We're dragged into this. We're dragged into this by an invading force called the fossil fuel industry that is threatening to destroy our world. And destroy it locally, state-wise, nationally, and globally. That's the evolution of these films, right? From the very moment of in the backyard, to the state, to the nation, to the world, and outward from there. What about you guys? How did you get involved with this? I know this man has amazing things to say about activism, so I want to throw to James Cromwell, but I would love to, if you guys wanted to weigh in.
Well, when I got involved in this, it's not so long, about a year, I think there were about 15 of us out on picketing in front of the CPV construction site. And it seemed like an incredible uphill battle.
Yeah.
And I look at this auditorium tonight and the people who are here, and I realize it's spreading exponentially. And if you feel what I feel, which is the power that we have as a community to speak with one voice, that we are more powerful than all the forces arrayed against us. We can change this whole world, and it starts with you coming together at this moment, and then you will share this moment with some other person, and that person will become involved. And pretty soon, there'll be millions of us in the streets with one voice that we want our world back, our democracy back, and our lives back.
Congratulations. I was crying and laughing all the way through the movie, and I saw a lot of people around me, you know, looking for their tissues and saying, "Shoot, I forgot my tissues." I was wondering if you know about CPV is, you know, it looks like they're well underway to starting to build this thing, and you said there are 300 more in the country. I hear one was stopped in Hillsborough. I don't quite understand. I've looked for articles about that, but down in Jersey they've stopped one. I don't know the details on it. I can't find an article on the details. And how many are actually running right now in the country? Do you know?
Well, I have a quick anecdote, and then I want to ask Camilla. We're having the same battle, exactly the same battle in Denton, Texas. So there were two of them, and they were 220 megawatts each. Denton, Texas is the birthplace of fracking. If you saw Gasland, you remember Dish, Texas? The mayor of Dish, you know, the town that renamed itself Dish so that they could get 10 years of free Dish network. Well, the 10 years of free, it's true. It's one of those things, right, in America. Well, the Dish network subscription is long gone, but the pipelines and the compressor stations and the ruin of that town is still there. Denton, Texas is the birthplace of fracking. They banned fracking by referendum at a vote, right? A citywide vote. The state of Texas got so upset about this that the state of Texas revoked their right to ban fracking. So they banned all fracking bans.
Isn't that against
Well, isn't that against the Constitution? Or isn't that against, you know, I hate to say this, but we're not living in a democracy. You know, we're living in a country made up of oligarchs and movements. Oligarchs that got a lot of power. Trump's, you know, the Koch brothers, favorite oligarchs, right? The Clintons, sorry, just saying. Pro-fracking, Clintons. And then we have movements, the climate change movement, the anti-fracking movement, Black Lives Matter, Occupy movement, the resurgence of the feminist movement. These are where power lies in America now. It's not in your vote. It's not in a rigged system. It somehow got unrigged today in Pennsylvania for a day. But like, you know, isn't that against the, well, the way this usually works is there's a law that counts about this much, and then who has more lawyers counts about this much. But the idea is you have the power. It's in the streets. It's in your bodies. It's in front, standing in front of that picket line that's every there. So where are we at? Oh, so we did a film screening of this movie, and they got so scared that the Denton Municipal Electric Authority called me to mediate and make a meeting. And I said, well, we have these plans for 100% renewable energy for every state in the Union, or for the entire United States. Look at these. We're going to supply you with renewable energy advisors and the ability to do this a totally other way. And why don't you make this a transparent process? So we did this all in the movie theater, like this. And they said yes. And they stopped the power plants. And they said, we'll look at the 100% renewable energy plan. It's amazing. It worked. So we stopped those two for the time being. So where are we at now? And what's the update?
Well, CPV they build power plants all across the country. This is what they do. So they're experts at maneuvering the regulatory process. You mentioned that power plant in New Jersey, and my guess is that they got to that power plant, the opposition mobilized early on in the approval process, because we have all the same issues with our power plant that they had. We have critical wetlands, we have a recharge area for sole source aquifer. All the reasons that power plant was shut down exist with ours, actually more so. However, what we did not have is knowledge and information. The company deliberately kept the process kind of hidden from public view, and that's why people didn't know. And they began this process in 2009, and they did things very secretively and slowly, and before we knew it, they had all of their permits. But there's one permit they do not have yet, and therefore our entire campaign is focused on urging Governor Cuomo to reject the water quality certification for the lateral pipeline for the power plant. No pipeline, no power plant. So that's what our campaign is about. But beyond that, if we make a lot of noise, if we highlight the inconsistency and the incoherence of, on one hand, acknowledging that fracking is harmful to human health, yet on the same, but also building this massive market for frack gas. If we tease this out in public discourse, I believe our elected officials will have to turn against this power plant. And also climate change. I mean, methane has 86 times the global warming potential. As CO2, it's not cleaner than coal, and we've been communicating with Sean Patrick Maloney's office, and they seem to believe that it's cleaner than coal, and we actually invited him and his staff to come tonight. Is anybody here from Congressman Maloney's office? No? No? Well,
I said they were supposed to come.
they said they were going to come.
I heard it from a friend of mine.
So
We'll follow up. I'd like to follow up. If you get a meeting, I'm happy to call in or go if I can.
Okay, great. So we gave him the opportunity to come and get educated about it. And I'm sorry that he hasn't come, but we'll get the information to him. So I believe that once you confront them with the facts and the magnitude of what we're dealing with, and as the woman in the film said, the very young lady said, we say no. Just say no. And they will have to back down.
And don't vote for them, and then
That's the other option.
they're not gonna have your vote.
If everybody sitting in this room right now got on a bus and went to Albany, Governor Cuomo would have to rethink this project quite seriously.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. Now, you're not alone in this fight. There's the AIM pipeline, there's the Pilgrim pipeline, there's the Ned pipeline. There's a lot of people fighting this fight. I suggest we have to get together and say, if it was immoral and unhealthy to do fracking in New York State, then it is immoral to take the gas from Pennsylvania, where the children in Pennsylvania and children in New York State deserve the same human rights, right? Then it is immoral to take that gas and build a plant here to burn it. That is the principle. The health department in New York State said, my kids are not going to be safe living next to these frack wells, therefore no one in New York State is going to get this problem. They have to have that same logic towards importing that gas. So we have to get off of gas and get on renewable energy. That's what those green cards are for. I want to keep the questions rolling up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I just want to, not really a question, but one of the things that, I'm from Pennsylvania, you know, this movement we've had, to give you a little history lesson, this is a new thing that we fight for what we want. Almost 50 years ago, I got active in trying to save the Delaware River when they were doing the Cox Island Dam. And and they had condemned land, they took it away from people, they said, you can't beat it, you're never gonna beat the government. Guess what? They have a beautiful park there. Yay. Unfortunately, we built pipelines now across the river. But what I look at, what we have here, is what America is about. You know, the British owned us. We said, we don't like this. We fought the most powerful army and country on earth at that time. How did we do it? Little skirmishes here and there, little victories here and there. In the Delaware River Valley, some of it, you know? And that's really, today, we won a little skirmish. Yeah, we won we took some money, pennies, from a massive company, which it's a great thing. We stopped a pipeline in New York State. It's a great thing. Here's how we win, though. We keep fighting. And the investors for Williams, for Cabot, for all these things say, hey, they're not winning these things. I want to take my money and invest it in something else. That's how we win. It's great to stand up to them, but we got to take their money away from them. And that's why we got to keep fighting. And it's not a New York fight, it's not a Pennsylvania fight, it's a people fight.
Thank you. Next question here in the front desk.
Hi, I'm Kay Riviello from NoKill-NewYork.org. We're an animal rights organization. This is the first time.
There we go, microphone.
Hi, I'm Kay Riviello from NoKill-NewYork.org. We're an animal rights organization. This is the first time that I see a real presentation in your film about the importance of veganism. I'm not sure if I saw the connection there to the Amazon, where the Amazon is being destroyed for cows and beef consumption. So, and let me just backtrack first and say I'm just overwhelmed and so excited about this film. And as Mr. Conwell said, I'm just going to tout it to the mountain. Thank you so much. So how much more do you think that the climate change movement could start talking more about veganism?
Well, I think I'm going to give this to Dave Cromwell, but
look
those,
at one person.
those,
Even clapping for that. I'm sorry.
okay. The green cards that you have, it's not just about greening your life in terms of power, but it's also about, obviously, a diet that is based on much less animal consumption, because this is what is a major driver of climate change. So it's not just about, you know, do we want to get solar panels on our roof and these things. We also have to change our habits for sure. So I'm going to hand this over to this man now, because he's far more articulate on the subject.
We're in the process of a paradigm shift, whether we know it or not. And it demands a certain, you can call it sacrifice. I choose not to call it sacrifice, I choose to call it choice. You have a choice. We can either continue to live the way we have been living, which is unconscious of the effect of our actions on other human beings and on other creatures, other sentient beings on the planet, or we can begin to take responsibility and understand that what we put in our bodies is us. And it was some other sentient being that had aspirations, dreams, rights, an experience of being alive. All you have to do to participate in this paradigm shift is stop eating meat one day, just one day. Try it one day. See what happens. See how you feel. Because one day will make a difference to, if we all did this, to millions of animals. And by doing it one day, it becomes 2 days, and then suddenly there's a shift. It doesn't happen just incrementally. There will be a critical mass, and then the thing will shift. And people will understand, we are all this, as the Lakota people say, Matakio Yasin, we are all related. All my relations. That's this planet, and that's us. And you can start by, if you love animals, don't eat them.
Next question. Yes, ma'am.
They're doing all kinds of things.
What kind of time frame are we on with
At the
CPV?
site, and they've been buying property for the pipeline.
Let's talk about that, Camilla, but before that, I would say there is one crucial deadline that I want everyone to keep in mind. April 19th is the New York State Democratic primary.
Yeah.
Now, Hillary Clinton has come out and said last night in the debate in Florida that natural gas is a bridge fuel to renewables. She is in favor of these kinds of power plants. That is one big deadline. If New York State goes for Bernie, which I'm suggesting politely, that will go a long way to stopping these pipelines. He's already come out against the Ned pipeline. I've been conversant with the campaign. I hope to do some events. We just did a few videos in support of them. I think that is a very important moment that New York State and Pennsylvania go for Bernie on April 19th and April 26th. We're gonna try to bring Bernie to Dimmick. That's one thing we're gonna try to do. Let's go ahead about the timeline here.
I really think that we have to make a lot of noise in the next 2 months. Millennium has applied for their lateral pipeline to FERC, and they've just issued the schedule for the environmental assessment, which is May 9th. So I think we need to get the governor to reject the water permit or not issue the water permit. Of course, ideally rejecting it would be best, but at the very least we have to make sure he does not issue that permit. We need to call for a federal investigation. Actually, before you leave, we actually have a letter to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York calling for a federal investigation because there's been a lot of conflict of interest and strong-arm tactics, undue influence in the approval of this project. So you can sign that as well. And we're also asking Governor Cuomo to rescind the existing permits and conduct an investigation. So I think that if we just make a lot of noise, stick together, come together, get involved. So far it's been a handful of people doing an enormous amount of work. We really, really need everybody involved if we're going to pull this off. And then it's just the beginning because this has to be a transformative change. I mean, when I found out about the mini-sink compressor station, as Josh says, I was drawn into this fight. I've been an activist when I was very, very young, but I, started raising children, and that became my primary focus. And then all of a sudden, I got a letter in the mail saying the compressor station is going up the road from you. And of course, I never opened my mail, but my husband insisted I do this time. And I got sucked into this fight. But what it made me realize, and a lot of families in Minisink actually realize, is that we're standing on the precipice. And this is a transformative moment. And we need to rethink our priorities. We need to rethink everything. We need to stop burning. We need to stop buying. And so I've been trying to live accordingly, and I hope everyone does. I hope this goes beyond the CPV fight.
Yeah, we're building something that's far-reaching, I think, and that's what this idea of this movement has been about from the beginning, you know, and I think that it's something that is going to be difficult to do, but I hope it's difficult. I hope it's not easy. I hope that at the end of it, we don't go back to our cul-de-sacs and our little boxes and our PlayStations and our, because that life is becoming increasingly meaningless. And we spend more time in rooms like this, meeting each other and enjoying. And by the way, I went to this restaurant down the street, this Mexican restaurant, where all these people were supposed to go at like 9 o'clock. And they were like, Lee and I ordered, we're so tired. She was like, you think I'm tired? I got up at 5 in the morning and I have a party of 40 at 9. And I was like, oh God, they must be coming from our movie. And sure enough, they're expecting us because they wouldn't let me pay the bill until I came back after the movie. So we do have to have only a few more questions, or maybe 2 more questions, if that's all right. And then you're welcome to come to the Cancun, what is it called?
Cancun Mexican restaurant.
Is the party of 40 still here, or did most of them leave? Good.
But you know,
I don't want that amazing waitress to have to stay up all night.
I have to run, so can I just make a quick announcement and run?
Make an announcement.
The picket every Saturday, nobody gets arrested. I know some people were concerned they'd get arrested.
Here's a microphone.
Here you go. Sorry.
The picket at the power plant at 11 o'clock every Saturday, rain or shine. Nobody's getting arrested. Some people chose to get arrested one week, but we've been getting about 20 or 30 people each week, and the cars drive by and they honk. And until we have 70 or 80 people out there, I don't think it's going to really make the statement that we want to make. I've been there for 6 weeks, even when it was 2 below zero, and it's a great experience. Please come out.
It's a great experience. It's a great experience. No, it is. It is. It's a great experience to stand up here, right, this, in the middle. Yes, you ma'am. And then, sure. And we're gonna take everybody's questions. We're just gonna do it all at once. But why don't you do first, and then we'll take the next bunch. Yes, go ahead.
So I'm really concerned about the impact of the Trans-Pacific Partnership and how that has the potential, if it does go into effect, of sweeping away every single environmental, health, safety, consumer, labor, whatever protection that we have. It's a sovereignty stealing device that these multinational corporations are engaged in, and Obama is pushing. So I think we should just be talking about that a whole.
I totally agree with you. There's something called the TPP, if you know about it, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It grants a lot of rights to corporations. It would overthrow the fracking ban in New York State. It would nullify a lot of the civic protections that we have legally in America. But here's what and it has to be stopped. And Obama's in favor of it, and so is Paul Ryan, and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are against it. That's what I'm saying. She's against it. And Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are against it. So it's weird, strange bedfellows here on this TPP. It's a NAFTA. It's a super NAFTA. It has a lot of really bad environmental provisions in it. Many people are against it. I agree. I also think that the power is with the people in the same way. Fracking is exempt from the Safe Drinking Water Act already. It's exempt from the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, the Superfund Act, many of your local environmental provisions, it is exempt. So it is still always the citizenship, in my view, that stands up against these things. And I think, it's whether TPP passes or TPP fails, there's still a hornet's nest of ways that, as Pramila noted, these companies just get around the law. And again, power in America nowadays is about movements. We have to bring those movements together. We have to keep them strong and keep moving. That's my position on it. Why don't we do this? How many people have remaining questions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh God. Okay. We're gonna do them in 2 rounds. 1, 2, and 3. You're gonna ask all 3 questions, and then we're gonna answer all 3 questions. And then we're gonna ask the other 3, and then we're gonna answer all 3. But you're gonna ask them all one after another, but you're gonna have to keep your question to like 1 or 2 sentences. Go.
No question.
No question.
What I have to say is everything that's said is definitely we're not realizing, maybe we all are,
Speak up,
is
please.
that.
Your mic's not up.
Oh, okay, well.
He's the mic man.
And.
Can you give the board?
Speak it up.
Okay, anyway,
There it is, there it is.
what
Now
we
it's
have to
over.
do, our grandchildren, our children, have to know what we know now. Because when we're all on the ground, these problems are still gonna exist. We have to teach our children in school. If it has to be about veganism, that's one thing. If it has to be about what we should use for power, that they have to be taught in school. So everybody goes home and tells their grandchildren and their children all about this and let them start to carry the ball.
Great. Number 2.
Mine was not a question. I just want to echo some of the things that have been said about making a lot of noise, about dancing, about the picket line having to be bigger, and I want to invite everybody to a giant dance party at the CPV site, date to be announced.
That's a great idea. Actually, we're going to be doing marathon dance. Oh wait, I said all 3. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry,
And the
let
third.
me just say this.
Yes.
The date I was going to propose is April 16th, which is the weekend before the primary.
Okay.
That's all I wanted
That's
to
a
say.
really great idea. Go ahead.
First, thank you.
You're welcome, sir, from the radio.
Yes, thank you for coming on the show yesterday. All
You're
3 of you, open door policy, anytime. But thank you for the film. I mean, the film, you should be very proud of what was on that screen. You should be very proud.
Don't leave, dance lady. Wait.
Exceptional. Everything you've done is exceptional. What I want to know is, you know, we live in the era of special interests. We live in the era of lobbyists. Money pollutes as much as it ever has. Do you know if the governor, or I probably should say who the governor may be aligned with on the CPV side, who may be a heavy contributor to the governor, because that's generally the way he goes, is where the money flows.
Okay. We're going to do all 3 of these in one sentence. We're going to make the movie available to be in any school that they want to be in. They want to be in. So make sure that you know that, and you contact us through our website if you have kids in school, if you're a teacher. We're going to make the movie available. Number 2, on the 17th, great, go for it. We're going to do marathon dancing. What did I say? 16th. We're fine. Whatever the date is, but you're in charge. What's your name?
Melanie.
Melanie, we all know Melanie. Okay, Melanie's in charge. Okay, who's going to go to Melanie's dance party? Okay, all right. We're going to be doing marathon dancing protests. One of the things we want to do is marathon dancing, like in the pathway of the pipeline. So this fits in perfectly. We're going to have dance parties break out all over. We're going to support you with videos. The third thing is about corruption. You know, it's a really, really important thing to look at. Who's giving money where? Gasland 2 is a whole film about this. I spent years and years researching it. I do think that this administration is receptive to the kinds of protests that we're talking about here. But I do think they also need, if there are those ties, you have to get that out in the public, and you have to create signs about it, memes about it, put it out on Facebook, because they're very, and some of the time you have to expose that for sure. And this government has also been vulnerable to things like that. Anything to add to those 3 answers?
Yeah, CPV and their lobbyists, Nixon Peabody, are one of Governor Cuomo's largest donors. I don't often talk about that publicly, but since you asked, that is a fact. They're one of the largest donors in New York State. The year that they made their critical application to the Public Service Commission, they made a very, very large donation to his reelection fund. Also, our state senator, Scott Bonisick, has been lobbying for this project and an advocate of this project, and his son, John Bonisick, is the attorney with the project sponsor.
I think we should. Can you talk about this on your radio show?
Yeah, I have actually. We thought it's a family affair, basically.
It is. And that's why our letter asked for a federal investigation.
I suggest we publicize this as much as we can. Melanie, will you talk with Lee about the dance party? She's right there in the back. Melanie, will you talk with Lee also? You have one volunteer already, I think, right there. But talk with Lee about your dance party. Okay, what are the last 3 questions? We'll do them all one, 2, 3. 1, 2, and who was 3?
Andrea.
Okay.
Andrea, 3. Okay, hey, go ahead. Ma'am, number 1.
You mentioned despair and denial that you had to deal with, and I'm wondering what you do with your fear. And by fear, I mean like fear of everything from criticism to harassment to being arrested to being sued, all the way to fear of losing your life.
What do I do with my fear? It's a great, I've never had that question before. Sure, yes, number 2.
Can I get the microphone? I'm loud, but I'm not that loud.
You're pretty loud, you're pretty loud.
Yeah, we can hear
We
you.
got it.
Use your outside voice.
Really quick, I want to thank you for that documentary. That was fantastic. Wow, that was great. I'm currently pursuing a master's in environmental sustainability, and I want to speak more to the documentary. One of the issues that constantly comes up every semester is about population. Current growth trends project us the next century, flirting with between 12 and 13 billion people. Ideally, we'd want to be somewhere in that 9 billion area. I think pursuing endeavors like this is fantastic, but really what it comes down to, these plants, these mines, they come from consumer demand, ultimately. Why isn't, I know population control, it's got a number of human rights violations, people get a little freaked when they talk about it, but I'm curious, how does the conversation of population enter international discourse and national discourse?
It's a great question. And the last.
And how do we get more of the community involved in this? Thank you for coming out tonight. Fabulous movie and the pro and con and sustainable war, but all the other members in this.
Can we do these in reverse? We'll do them in reverse. And if you want to, I don't know how. This is something I do, and it's a weird thing. Okay, so how do we get the community more involved? Talk to everyone you know. My teacher in the theater, Ann Bogart, used to tell me this crazy story about this guy who made this movie. She was sitting next to this guy at dinner, and he had this idea for this movie, and he kept talking to her about it. And she became convinced that wherever this man went, he would talk to the person sitting next to him at dinner about this movie he wanted to make. Several years later, this movie came out. It was The Red Violet, and it won an Oscar. And she had nothing to do with the movies. She said, "That's a great idea, but I have nothing to do with the movies." She's like, "Oh, that's fine." And eventually, he was sitting next to the right person who then made the movie with him. So I think if you're sitting next to somebody at breakfast, if you're sitting next to somebody at dinner, if you're sitting next to somebody at a movie, you talk to them about this, and then you invite them. We do the movie. You know what? You can do another screening of this movie at your house. We're gonna do a call for house parties when it comes out on HBO. We're gonna make it available to you as a gathering tool, or you can just have a potluck dinner for your neighbors. Get to know people. Bring them over. Say, I invited all my neighbors to dinner. Why? Well, to give you food, and then you tell them about really why. You know what I mean? Get every single person involved in that way is my advice. Anything to add to that, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I would just agree. I would agree with that. Also, take responsibility. I mean, we need people to get involved. Join us, but it's more than just coming to the picket. There's a lot of work involved in organizing. We need people tweeting. We need people posting on social media, making memes, doing graphics. So we need, like I said, all hands on deck. And advertisers also say that you have to put something out. Like, people need to see something 3 or 4 times before it sinks in. Mm-hmm. And that's been our experience. We see the same people, and we give them a flyer and it doesn't hit them. We give them another flyer and it doesn't hit them. But like by the 4th or 5th time, they're like, "Oh my God, there's a power plant going up the road from my house. Oh my God." So we need people to distribute flyers and as Josh says, spread the word about it. And then, of course, get involved with Protect Orange County. Thanks.
You want to take question number 2?
Yeah, we could deal with the population explosion if we had economic justice, if we had gender justice, if we had racial justice. When people are condemned to poverty, which Josh brought out in the film, when there's nothing left to hope for, it's like a tree when it's threatened, it sends out little shoots all over, which really rob the tree, but it's its effort to stay alive, to last, to go on, because you don't think it's going to go on. We can't continue to kill black young men and women in the streets. We can't continue to incarcerate them. We can't continue to deny women the opportunity to get equal pay for the work that they do and to have the opportunities and to be in the positions of power where their particular skills and connectedness to the planet count for a lot more than what men have brought to the table. Some men. So I think there's a lot of opportunity if we deal with those issues.
You know, it really makes you want to show up on Saturday morning to be on a picket line with this man. This is why it's fun. I'm sad that we're going to be on tour for the next 3 months. I want to chain myself to James Cromwell. So, listen, about the fear question and about the participation question. You know, we get death threats. We get a lot of nastiness. And the fear of getting fracked was way worse than any other fear. The fear of watching everything I love get destroyed overrode the fear of any personal harm. And I feel that way about climate change also, of course. And the other thing, the opposite side of the fear, I think, is faith and love. And so when you do this, the way you get people involved, I mean, I went to this weird small meeting of the Damascus Citizens for Sustainability, which were 7 people in Upper Delaware River that wanted to talk about climate change, and talk about fracking. And their presentation was so incredibly informative and so incredibly bad in terms of like how it was presented. Like my great friend Barbara Arundel, the scientist, she was terrible at presenting. She was like, chemical, fracking, 700. Water. You know, I mean, she didn't know how to use a microphone. So I said, Barbara, can I maybe make a 5-minute YouTube video to help you with the presentation? You know, I know how to make movies. And she goes, well, that would be wonderful. So the project got a little bit bigger than a 5-minute YouTube video. 3 movies later, you know, you do what you love. And that stops you from being any fear. Some people love organizing. I'm not an organizer. I can't organize a sock drawer. I don't even have a sock drawer. You know? Like, if I was to choose to be an organizer in this, I would have quit in 2 weeks. I've made movies, I'm here 10 years later. Because I do what I love. So you add what you love to this. It's not about having a pain in the ass thing to do. Oh, I gotta get up and do this thing, change myself to James Cromwell. No, it's, I need to do what I love. And that resonates, this whole thing is about that. This whole thing is about what you do best is needed and called for. Because it's a community. So somebody else does the thing that you hate to do. So that has this incredible way of defeating all the isolation. You know, when I started this, I never felt more alone in my whole life than when the fracking industry came to the front door. I didn't know how to stop them. But now you go anywhere and you run into all these amazing people who are working on this. That's what the movement is about. So that defeats any kind of fear. That's the way it works, right? Right? And music and dance helps a lot too, and so do movies, and so do these amazing folks.
This is an organizer.
There you go. Speaking of organizing, I think we should all organize a trip to the Mexican restaurant down the street. See you there. Thank you so much.
Everybody.